All right, welcome to the Week 1 Forum. I'm going to take a moment to go over the rules for the forum assignment one more time and to provide you with some ideas to organize your participation in this assignment, which is very important. A quarter of your grade here. First, you cannot see any other students' posts until you make an initial summary post, which should be at least 75 words. You need to make your initial summary no later than 11:55 of each Tuesday. That post should demonstrate to me that you've read the assigned chapter. You can demonstrate your understanding in a number of ways. One, you can provide a brief summary. And again, that's likely the most labor-intensive way to do it. Two, you can write about some aspect of each chapter that you think is most important or most interesting or most difficult to understand. Third, you can respond substantively to one of the questions that I'm asking in this particular, mini lecture for each week. Once you've made your initial summary post, you need to monitor the forum over the rest of the week. You need to check in frequently. The whatever you call it, hold on, let me go there. The at a glance section should tell you if anyone has made a post. You can check on that and reply to it. Again, in my opinion, the forums are only worth what you commit to them. And my view is that a week of periodic interaction is worth about an hour and 15-minute class. So in other words, I view the forums as a virtual classroom, and you need to commit a little time every day over the course of the week in order to approximate the value of a 2-class-a-week classroom setting. Your safest bet for earning maximum credit on the forum is to make your informative initial post by Tuesday and then try to make at least one interactive post a day through Sunday. Okay, and that would effectively get you to what, 4 or 5 posts. Now let's go over the ground rules governing participation one more time again. Rule number 1 is no fluff. I don't want to read a bunch of congratulatory posts complimenting one another on your remarkable insights. Rule number 2 is no flaming. Don't go ad hominem on one another. Don't call one another stupid. Rule number 3 is no parachuting. Don't come in on Sunday, make all your posts, and expect to get full credit. Rule number 4 is no fade outs. Don't make 4 posts on Wednesday and then forget to show up the rest of the week. And rule number 5 is no clumping. Again, that means at any point in the week, don't think you can make 4 quick posts and then you're done with the assignment. When I see those things, I'm going to point them out to you in real time, especially with the fluff and the flaming. Otherwise, I'll make a post at the end of the week and say, I think you parachuted or I think you faded out, and I'll lower your grade a bit. I'm not going to, if you're meeting all the post requirements, I'm not necessarily going to give you an F grade. It's going to be more like a B or a C grade. Okay. So part of my evaluation process for this is checking the dates for each of your posts. So I have a pretty clear idea of what you're doing on a day-to-day and a week-to-week basis. And I know that also because I check the posts every week, every day, right? For this week, there are a number of possible topics to discuss. One of the issues discussed by the authors in Chapter 1 is the idea of citizenship. We live in a federal republic, but many people believe that we live in a democracy. What's the difference between the two? Do contemporary Americans understand democracy the way the Greeks understood democracy? Is that kind of democracy really one we want to be moving towards? In an important sense, American government involves establishing and maintaining a balancing act between 2 important principles: majority rule on the one hand and minority rights on the other hand. Majority rule reflects Americans' commitment to democratic principles and to the belief that for most issues, a majority of Americans are likely to come to just and prudent decisions. The commitment to minority rights, on the other hand, suggests that there are instances in which even a majority should not be imposing on minorities. Now, the essence of that balancing act is, again, to establish respect for the will of the majority, but also the rights of minorities, because we never know when we're going to find ourselves in the minority. And overall, that also we have to have trust and faith in rule of law. The United States government also espouses the idea of capitalism. How does capitalism function in a system of economic distribution? What does it mean to say that we have private ownership and that we have free markets? To what extent do we allow the government to intervene in the marketplace in order to protect individuals from the arbitrary workings of the free market? Because in a lot of instances, you find people out of work that are able-bodied and not want to work, right? What do you do with those folks? To me, an interesting topic dealing with Chapter 1 is demographic change. How is this generation of 18-year-olds different from 18-year-olds from other, from 20 years ago or 40 years ago when I was coming of age? What's it like coming of age coming into adulthood in an era of social media and fake news? How are millennials entering the electorate going to change our political culture? I was talking with my wife about this the other week. We went to Woodland Hills Mall for probably the first time in several years, and I was struck by how diverse the population, the people moving around in that mall was. And I thought it was awesome. I kind of liked it. I didn't just kind of like it, I loved it. Another important question that I touched upon this week in the overview is the erosion of trust in government among Americans. What would you say are the biggest reasons for this loss of trust in government and the general trend towards cynicism in people's opinions about politics? What would you suggest to be done to reestablish that sense of connection between citizens and our governing institutions? All right, I'm going to stop here. I realize that, again, there's a lot to cover in this chapter. If there's anything that I didn't cover, please, but that you want to talk about, please feel free to raise those issues. Don't feel confined by the issues that I've highlighted. Some of the later mini lectures will be a lot more embodied. So, as I've stated previously, my experience is that you'll get out of the forms what you put into them. So let me pose one last question. If you could propose a major change to our Constitution, what amendment would you propose to change how we govern? All right, let's have a great